you see me in the background too. You get 2 angles of me. What more could a person want? Alright. So, this is Legend of Oasis. I'm going to speedrun it. Oh, let me move my water a little closer here as I mash buttons to get through this intro text. So, this is a Sega Saturn game released in 1996. Ooh, we're already done. Sega Saturn, not the most successful system video game console ever produced. No, it was actually really bad. But despite that, this game is actually not terrible. Although my wife would disagree. This is kind of an RPG that would have that had a lot of good ideas that it didn't quite get there. So the premise of the game is that you have found this golden amulet, and you can see on his left arm there he's got this golden thing going on. And it's a fun little sequence break and skip right there. So you have this golden amulet, and so you have the power to control all of the spirits. And there's 6 spirits, and we're going to have to collect them all and unlock them all. And the first one is the water spirit, if you couldn't tell from the decor. And standing opposite to the golden amulet is the silver amulet. And that's just the amulet of destruction and death and evilness. So we have this gold one. The silver one's out there. We got to go stop the silver guy. And we are the golden one. Great. So our first spirit is going to be the water spirit. And this dungeon is pretty short. It's about 2.5, 3 minutes long. If you know where you're going, it's pretty linear. Here we're talking to the statue of the previous owner of the golden amulet, the previous spirit king. And first boss, not very difficult. We do that triple flip move, which is very potent. And let's see if we get a good split. Ooh, we did. So that's John Waters. He's the water spirit. And the water spirit has abilities that you're sort of able to control. So you can see she's kind of flying towards me. And she'll try to stay more or less with me. But she's a little slow, so she gets caught behind. When she shoots a single bubble like that, that's just on her own. She just sees a bad guy. And she has this compulsion to throw a bubble at him. When I want to do an ability of hers, specifically shoot like a whole line of bubbles out. Like this right here. She does it from where she's standing, but in the direction that I'm facing. And so you kind of have to manipulate where the spirit is in order to get them to do the ability on the right spot. So there's a bit of movement difficulties in just the spirit alone. In addition to that, you'll see me start and stop a lot. Like right there, I kind of started and stopped. That's because in order to run, you have to double tap a direction. And Leon, who's the main character here, walks very slowly. So we don't want to walk. We want to run as much as possible. But now we have to go back into town now that we've gotten the first spirit to get this guy to, I don't know, have an earthquake. Once there's an earthquake, we can leave. He has more to say about the earthquake, but we don't really want to hear that. We would rather go to the fire shrine. Let us out. So we have this water spirit, and after we extinguish that last thing of fire, we don't really need her anymore. But we're keeping her around because we're going to need her again for the fire shrine. It shouldn't really come as a shock to anybody that the water spirit is useful in the fire shrine. So she's going to stick with us. Having her out is just going to drain our magic. So we're better off, but summoning her takes a couple of seconds. And we'll have to summon a lot of spirits and unsummoned spirits throughout the run. So we're just going to leave her summoned for now. And now she's kind of useful again. So we're going to need to freeze these things. Wow. And she wandered away there to go mess with that bat. I really didn't want you to freeze that one like that. She's being very annoying. So we'll actually just jump on this bat instead. Oh, this is going to be time loss. That's alright. Alright. So, once you freeze things, then you can jump on them and be on your way. So we picked up a weapon there called the Rod, the Blue Rod. The Blue Rod isn't so much for doing damage to enemies, although it can do quite a bit of damage against some enemies. It's more for doing damage to trees. And we're going to see that in a minute here, where we actually get, we need to get a key out of a dead tree. And again, we gotta wait for her to catch up. How did that skeleton make it all the way across? That guy's good. So there's this iron ball sitting on these 3 dead trees. I don't know who put it there or why. But we're gonna use the rod to bash in the trees, get the iron ball, and then push it to the point where we can jump on it. We'll refill our magic. She's pretty useful against the boss of this dungeon, as one might expect in a fire dungeon. Put out that torch, and we're gone. There's a couple more extinguishing things. Now, this is an example where she doesn't quite follow enough. And we did it that time. So we got her to follow through that door. Otherwise, you have to kind of go real far against the back, and then those guys get the enemies kind of get in the way. And it's just, in general, a huge pain. Because if she gets far enough away from you, she'll just teleport to you. And that is overtime. Spent a little too much time getting that rod. But that's okay. So we're going to unlock the fire spirit here. And we have unsummoned John Waters. We're going to prefer Mike Fires for a while now. And we get rank up there. So rank is the level up system in this game. And it's not so much a level up system as it is a handicap system. Every time you rank up, you get a little bit more health. And the way you get ranks is every time you take 100 points of damage and heal up to full, you will get a level. And like, that doesn't make any sense. You could just hurt yourself and heal yourself over and over infinitely on one of those healing circles. And yes, you could. And you can do that, but we don't have time to do that. And it acts really more as a handicap system. For players who are not that skilled at this game, they'll end up with a lot of ranks, and they'll end up with a lot of health, which will make going through this game a lot easier. Whereas speedrunners will end up in, very, very low ranks. Because we have to go fast, and we don't really waste our time killing things. So that guy standing outside the shrine, his name is Chucky. That's his name in-game. I didn't name him Chucky. It's just what the legend of Oasis calls that guy. Kind of a mishmash of a lot of Western mythologies, but that's okay. It makes for an entertaining game. So Chucky wants us to go back to the village. We don't have time for that. Turns out this mysterious dark-haired girl showed up in the village, and the village is racist against people with dark hair. And so they think that she's a bad omen, and she got real sick, and we gotta help her. We gotta heal her with John Waters. John Waters is the healing spirit. So But instead, we're going to go get the plant spirit, because we don't actually need to do that. There's not really anything in the village for us to get right now other than learn a little bit more about the story. After we have the plant spirit, then there'll be something for us to actually get, which will be pretty much the key to the fourth dungeon. The plant dungeon here, the forest dungeon, is also the first kind of non-linear dungeon. There we go. Meaning you can get lost a little bit. There's a lot more directions to go than the previous two. A lot more things to discover. But thankfully we know where all the keys are and all the secrets are, so we'll dash through this pretty quick. And after this, the dungeons get much more long and intricate. Because as you have more spirits, there's more interesting things to do around using those spirits. We're also going to get introduced to a concept in this dungeon, empowering your weapons. So we'll soon have 4 weapons. Wow, these zombies are in my way. We'll soon have 4 weapons. We'll have the short sword, the bow, the rod, and soon the heavy sword. As we fight this mini-boss here. And each of those weapons can be empowered, well, most of those weapons can be empowered in 2 different ways. And in this case, we're going to see the rod be able to be empowered into the holy rod. So we get a scroll in order to be able to empower it, and then we need an empowerment source, which in this case will be a little orb thing that kind of sits on the ground. So we get our scroll of the holy rod. And we find the little empowerment ball. And now we can use the holy rod to turn the plant into a spring plant. Like I said, there's like some good things and some things that don't really make any sense at all. Jump grass is certainly in the what is going on category. So, every time we get a scroll, we get 3 shots with whatever weapon that empowers. And those are there until we use them, or repower the weapon, or switch weapons. So if we switch to the dagger right now, the short sword rather, my final holy rod shot here would go away. But we don't want to get rid of this last holy rod shot. It's useful for, there's another holy rod related puzzle coming up pretty quick here. And so we're going to want to keep that. Thankfully, we don't really have any enemies to kill along the way. And there it is. So able to skip a whole bunch of things. So the routing in this game, as far as knowing that I can do that, the routing in this game is not a game that's been speedrun for very long. As far as I know, I'm the first person to actually look at it from a more serious speedrunning perspective. I started playing because I played the first game in this series for the Sega Genesis, and I always wanted to play this, but nobody had a Saturn. All right, so we got the heavy sword, we got the giant ginger, which lets us jump a little further. And so we're able to make those jumps there. And then we're able to make that jump too. That jump we're definitely not supposed to be able to make, but we have all the keys now. And we can jump right back across with help from that weird pot-looking thing. We'll be back to that area and break that crystal open and go through that entrance later. But right now, we're just going to go up and fight the boss. GGGG. Baby, baby, baby. So we're using kind of the ultimate move for the fire spirit, which actually burned right through our magic potion to help do damage to this guy, because it does quite a bit of damage. And we'll actually be able to save a bit of time. So we'll unlock Robert Plant. Now we'll have to go back to the village. So yeah, so I played the Genesis version of the game as a kid, which was my absolute favorite game. I always wanted to play the Saturn version, but nobody had a Saturn. And so now that I'm a grown-up, I'm going to speedrun it. So, I don't know how that guy got in here. But he tells us to go back to the village. Something bad's happening. And we don't quite believe him. But then again, there is this Egyptian-looking guy sitting out front here. And that's Dark Will. And he tells us, I'm evil. Let us win. Or else. And we say, no. So we're going to go back to the village. Ignore what Dark Will has to say. And we're going to go heal that black-haired girl we were talking about earlier. So there she is. She's very sick. She's in the middle of town. Excuse me. This guy is shocked that there would be racists in his village. And that guy says, well, I'm definitely not racist. You can stay in my place. So, we'll go in here and we'll heal her up with the power of the water spirit. John Waters said it right. And then we'll let her talk to our back as we're on the edge of the door because we have to go fast. I'm going to help you. So, we'll go report back to the boss. Like, hey, I used spirit magic to heal the girl. He says, great work. Go help her. And I say, okay. Let me clean that corpse up, please. And she's going to give us the MacGuffin to get into the next shrine, which is the red cube for some reason. There's 3 cubes we have to get throughout this run. That was the first one. That's kind of the one that's easiest to get, obviously. There's one that's kind of, we're going to have to route in. We're actually going to route it in a little bit earlier than the game expects us to. And the third one's in the final tower. And once we have all 3 of those, we can go fight the final boss. So on to the Sound Shrine, which is conveniently located in between the Forest Shrine and the Fire Shrine. So there's 2 things we need to get in. We need one is the Plant Spirit, because obviously if you have this giant scaled up pixelated ball made out of metal, the best way to get rid of it is just have the plant guy eat it. The second is to have a cube, which makes this giant want to fight you. Am I defeated? Yes, sir. Pick up Mike Fires again. So this is the Shrine of Sound. And this, kind of the theme of this is you have to do things in 3. So right away we see these 3 bushes with these 3 buttons, and we got to hit all 3 buttons in order to open the door. Ooh, I made that jump. It's tough to make jumps like that because he slides. When he stops running. It makes for very difficult movement. But that's part of the appeal of this game, is the challenging movement. It's not too bad, and you are able to go fast. So there's that. And it's very rewarding when you're able to, you know, make a tough run somewhere or get Leon to do what you want. So we get the key through the door. On to the next puzzle. Now the next puzzle, the fire guy actually gets in the way a little bit, depending on how things work out. But we were able to skip the puzzle. Mike Fires didn't give us too much trouble there. And again, just jumping on enemies. Oh, there's a rat in my way. Everything's fine. So we're going to have to light 3 torches with the help of Mike Fires. And there's the first one. And the other 2 are on this side. And then he is actively harmful to have at this part. mess with that. There's a water drip from the ceiling that you can sort of see. And if we get that, we can summon the water spirit, which makes fighting these things a lot easier. But doesn't want to cooperate today. So we killed all those fireball things, and we've hit 2 switches to turn off the kind of green flames that you saw there. The third switch is much further on in this dungeon. I think you're supposed to discover this switch first. And it's already in the correct position, so we don't have to worry about that. Now for the most difficult part of the run. Well, not the most difficult, but one of the more tedious parts of the run. Which is dealing with the game's physics engine. So, see these stone pillars? We need the ability to kill these stone pillars. And the way to kill them is with that spike. How is that guy not dead? Oh, there he is. There we go. Give me this chicken back. Alright, so there are these 2 pillars in our way. So we need to direct this spike to kill those pillars. Oh, that's beautiful. And it is not always intuitive how the spike will behave. That might be a gold. That was definitely a gold. Alright, we are gone. That's beautiful. Saved a minute. Again, we see the thing of 3 here. So there's these cracks in the ground, and obviously the plant guy eats the cracks. I think they didn't really think of what the plant guy could do. I know you can see that crack. Thank you. And now we need to hit 3 rock switches. So that's 1. And these 3 rock switches are going to unlock the ability for us to get the next weapon, which is the final of the kind of base weapons, which is bombs. And bombs are very useful for a lot of things, both intended and not intended. So we have that theme where the developers kind of went overboard with being able to stand on things. You can stand on the bombs that you throw, and that'll allow you to jump to higher platforms. Not even with the explosion. You can just jump to higher platforms by standing on the bomb model sprite thing. You can get even higher by utilizing the explosion in your favor. But we don't need to worry about that too much right now. Right now what we're going to use the bombs for is hitting switches that kind of lock us in rooms. Because that's the only way to get through. So there's 2 doors. And this switches both of them. So we get through, and we're at another spike. No! Alright, we really want both spikes down there. There's a very specific pillar we have to break. And so getting both of them down there really helps with just the odds of physics working out for you. Come on! What do you even bounce off of? You usually bounce right through chests. Alright. So they're both down there. Now... So it's this pillar right here that we need to break. So it'll take them a little while to actually get up here, but generally speaking, trying to mess with these balls as they're bouncing around here is just not profitable. Oh, that thing hit me twice. So it takes about 3 hits from the ball, so we already got 1 of them done. Shoot. come on back. Oh, this part is frustrating sometimes. Every time, all the time. Like, what am I supposed to do there? It's way too much of an angle for me to do anything about it. Here you go. Oh, come on. Alright, this guy's gonna come up. No, he's not. Alright, that might hit it at least once. No, it didn't hit it at all. We have a health potion if we die. So death is not really a big concern here. It's just the concern of the time loss of not getting this thing to hit the pillar. Alright, that guy's coming real slow. But I'm just going to let him come. Alright, there it goes. And we're going to grab this emerald here. The emeralds level up the spirits a little bit. But more importantly, they give us more max magic. So there's not really a reason for us to level up the spirits too much, especially not the plant guy. They gain extra abilities once they hit like the 4th level, but we are certainly not going to spend our time getting 4 of any one gem. Once again, this weird plant guy to the rescue for those, and we're going to get introduced to the next thing in the lore of this game, which is obviously going to be robots. And we're also going to get our next empowered weapon here, which is the flame sword. So we'll get a bunch of scrolls of the flame sword. And these will be useful kind of later on. It'll have marginal use throughout the entire run. But mostly it'll be useful later on. And I died there. That's okay. Rank up. Okay. Those mushrooms are poisonous, in case that was not obvious. So, we have... Ow. Look at that giant rat. We got some robots to move some things into places. We've taken the iron balls off of all of the switches. And we're going to set these electric balls free. And what these are going to do is these are just going to bounce around for a while. And hopefully hit this middle switch. Come on. They get so close. When they get near each other, they make a bigger target. Here we go. That guy's going right for it. Yes. So we got half of an elixir. Oh, jeez. I really want that thing that you have there. All right. Full health, full magic. We've now hit 2 of the 3 electric switches. One with the robot, one just there. And the last one is right here, near the door. Now we're going to see our first bomb jump. So this is just a very simple bomb jump where we are literally just placing a bomb and then standing on top of it, which allows us to reach that platform. The intended way to do it is there's a metal ball there. You're going to go around it and hit it down and then stand on it and position it so that you can stand on it. But we're not really interested in doing that. So we still have our flame sword. We still have 8 uses of our flame sword. We really want to keep that for another kind of specific part of this run. Another part of this dungeon. So we're going to try to use the fire spirit here as best we can. Alright, so we still have 5 uses of the flame sword. That's more than enough. Because if we use the flame sword up, then we won't have it for when we actually want it. Which is in this next room. This isn't much of a puzzle to figure out so much as it is just to do what the game tells you to do. I missed one. So it doesn't actually let you proceed unless you get all of those things knocked down. And since we did it after only one alarm, it gave us a bonus scroll of the fire sword, which sounds great to me. Now we're going to go, and this is the final puzzle. We were supposed to read three of those obelisks there in order to figure out what the correct order to hit these switches in is. But we already know what the correct order is. And we're on to Tim Tim. Tim Tim is one of the more annoying bosses. So we're lucky we got quite a bit of damage in on Tim Tim that time. Before he went away. As he gets lower health, he will be much, much more quick to kind of jump away. That was not good. Alright. Nothing we can do about this part. We do have half of an elixir for safety, so if we die, we'll get half of our health back. Nope. Oh, what a jerk. Alright, there he goes. That wasn't a bad Tim Tim fight. It wasn't my best, but it wasn't bad. We'll save some time. So this will unlock Stephen Soundheim. It's the spirit of sound and metal. He has a very powerful attack where he just gets an AoE of sound waves, apparently. We're going to summon him right during this cutscene. Just before we lose control of our character. Pick up a full elixir. And we got full resources, and we're conveniently back at the beginning of this dungeon. So we can go back to the village now, and we'll meet Bludgeon. Bludgeon's one of the other minions, so we already met Darkwill and Red Demon and Myra. Myra's the black-haired girl. But we don't need to meet Bludgeon. We'll just go to dungeon number 5. And dungeon number 5 is in the Forest Shrine. Oh, jeez. Oh, I screwed up. I went too far. This river, despite being ankle deep, has a very strong current. So you really got to make an effort to get back there. And when you get yourself in between the two tiles, you can, for some reason, jump on them. So this is where we're going to see our first, like, real difficult bomb jump, where we're actually sequence breaking significantly. Oh, I jumped way too early. That was bad. Not going to reset, though. We do have 9 bombs left, so we are, now because we've missed a bomb jump, we're going to have to skip a later bomb jump. The bombs in this run are really, really tight, but it's really not a big deal. A lot of them are just more for convenience and speed than because they're strictly necessary. This one, however, is necessary as well as the next one. So as long as we don't miss 10 times in a row here, we'll be okay. And there we go. Beautiful. Love that Tarzan noise. So this is our second cube. We're not supposed to get that until way, way later. And we're still ahead somehow, despite losing 42 seconds. 43 seconds. All right. Get our holy rod again. All right. We got one more difficult bomb jump to make. Or one more required difficult bomb jump. There is a shortcut during the forest temple to unlock this. But we chose not to do it. We chose to do the faster route that doesn't involve coming over here to unlock that. And this is going to be an entrance for the Shadow Shrine. Shrine of Shade. Shadow. Felicia Rashade. And we need Stephen Sondheim here for a while, because there are a number of these crystals that he has to break for us. This is also a dungeon where it's got a lot of extra rooms and kind of like items and stuff that you don't really need but definitely help. We're going to be skipping a lot of those, so we know exactly where to spend our keys and exactly where to get the scroll. So this is the next empowered weapon that we'll be able to have, and this is the Earth Sword. So the heavy sword will be able to transform into the Earth Sword. And this means we never have to deal with those bouncing spike things ever again, despite continuing to be a mechanic. We can now break the stone pillars with our sword. As long as we have enough charges. So we'll get the extra scroll there just because the Earth Sword is very, very useful, especially later in the run. And kill all of the evil bones in order to get through that door. So we're going to do another bomb jump here. We're basically going to use our bomb until we get 0, and that'll be the next time we get a refill of any kind. First try. Now we're going to pick up one of the optional items. So this is one of the optional places to spend your key, but thankfully you get a key back. But we're going to do this because we get the level 2 short sword, which is a lot more damage. I'm going to say this guy drops bombs because we wasted a bomb earlier. He did not. That's okay. Take that gold, man. Now, if we hadn't grabbed the level 2 sword, instead of just 2 flips, that would have taken 4 flips, which is significantly more time. So already we're seeing time games from getting spending the time to collect that level 2 dagger. We did not collect the level 2 rod. But we will collect the rest of the level 2 items. We'll end up with a level 2 longsword, level 2 bow. We won't get the level 2 bombs. We'll stick with the level 1 bombs. So yeah, we have this green sword now. We have 5 more uses of it, and we are going to want those uses. As a result of this, we have to summon the fire guy here. We have to summon Mike Fires here, because there are trees that we're going to need to break, and the game wants you to do it with the rod. But we really want to not equip the rod. We want to keep our earth sword, so we're going to stick with this and just have little Mike here. Get those trees out of the way for us. And the reason we want this is for this rock switch right here, which opens this up. And then also for this rock switch right here, which gets us this key. And then I missed the platform. So that tree right there, you can't break it any other way other than to either use the fire guy or with the level 2 rod. The level 1 rod is not enough. But we're just going to bomb jump right past the need to do any of that. And there's a whole mini boss sequence there, and we're going to skip that too. In fact, I don't think you really get anything even for fighting that mini boss. And here we have a robot puzzle where we get a key. Why there are robots in this game is still beyond me. I guess robots are cool. And now if you start reading the signs around the game, you'll know what every American 8th grader knows, which is that electricity is weak to sound. And so you're supposed to get the sound guy from that box right there and use that to, navigate your way through this little puzzle here. But instead, we just bomb jump and then do some jumping, and then everything's good. Yeah. So we're going to try to summon Brass here for that guy, because Brass is a very good offensive spirit. Now we enter this segment over here, and this is Ghost Egg. Ghost Egg is not the boss. The boss is the thing that hatches from Ghost Egg after it's fed enough ghosts. It's the most nightmare fuel thing in this video game. So this section takes 1 minute and 22 seconds no matter what you do. The only thing you can do to affect the time is if you attack a ghost egg, and it appears to just make everything take longer. So, kill the ghosts, don't kill the ghosts, doesn't seem to matter. So we're just going to kind of stay in the corner and keep ourselves at as close to full health as we can, while we wait for Screamer to come out. There we go. There he is. Whoa! Who said you were allowed to turn like that? calm down, dude. Where is he? There he goes. Not a terrible fight. So we're going to unlock Shade here. Shade is a little bit different from the rest of the spirits. Shade is a more defensive spirit. Shade's not something that kind of floats around. Shade is just like an extra copy of you, pretty much. Screamer's strong versus sound. I don't know. I think that was pretty successful. Usually I just come in there with Dido. Yeah, see, I got a gold there and everything. So Shade kind of stays on us the whole time. He acts as more of a shield. But he is able to kill those monster plant things, which nothing else is able to do. And as a result, some of them have portals under them. And we can get more portals, and that's kind of going to be our way to teleport around the world, is that room with all those plant monsters. So now we can see, oh, this guy's dead. I think his name's Orden. So we'll heal him. Oh, he's too old to be healed, even by John Waters. So take the sword. It's the key to the Wind Shrine. Great. We're going to go back here. Now, we've already used a lot of our magic between healing Orden and killing the weird plant thing. So we're actually going to get a refill on magic there. All right, I'll try Ifrit next time. I'll try Mike Fires. Excuse me, Mike Fires. All right, so we're back. We're in the Valley of the Dead. We have 2 bombs. Now, we'd like to have 3 here, but we only have 2. So we're going to end up skipping a bomb jump at the end. Ooh, I didn't really want to run into that guy. We should still have plenty of magic to make it all the way. We need one more claw attack thing to pull this switch. And then we just need you to not run out of magic. So there's a whole thing with plants here, but we're just going to bomb jump. No, we're not even going to chance it. Ooh, it's going to be really close here. No, we got the elixir, but we didn't get to keep Shade. That's all right. We'll get Shade back in a minute. So, we need to power up our Earth Sword in order to hit the rock switch that opens the Air Shrine, which is our 6th spirit. We're going to get Errol Flynn. Now, whatever. We're going. I don't need health. So, we're out of bombs. We do need bombs pretty badly at this point. Thankfully, those guys dropped 3. They also give you a little bit of magic power, but that doesn't so much matter. This is one of the most frustrating parts of the game. Thankfully, I know where to stand, but you have to throw a bomb up onto that torch. And just the perspective in this game is not the greatest. So again, we have 2 bombs remaining. You just saw us use the first one. Those 2 bombs are already spoken for. We already have plans for exactly where we're going to use them. Want us here to avoid having to find a holy rod thing. And we're going to need to hit 3 switches total here. And so this is the first one. We've pulled 1. Oh man, my sum of best is now sub 130. And this is our second place here. But we get a refill. So we back up to 10 bombs. If we were to stop to get the level 2 bombs, which were in a previous dungeon, we'd be able to carry 20, but we don't need to spend the time doing that. So Shade is very useful in this dungeon. One of Shade's kind of protective abilities is if you fall down, Shade will catch you. Like fall down a hole. And while we're up high in the air temple, or air shrine, is that guy dead? Alright, you can fall all the way back down, like into the world, and it is very, very frustrating to have to climb all the way back up. So we're going to use Shade as kind of a safety for that. Got it. If you walk too far into that room, it summons a bunch of bad guys that we don't really want to summon. Alright. Gain some more time. Our bomb count for the rest of the game is a little bit more relaxed. We'll have a little bit more opportunity to pick some guaranteed bomb drops up. And that circle back there was a save circle. If this was a marathon run, I would certainly be picking up, saving there in case I do fall down. But it hasn't happened in a while, so it's probably fine. I'm going to jump right across here. I don't know if you're supposed to know about that at this point. Took me a little while to figure it out. And by take a little while to figure it out, I mean somebody had to actually tell me. So this is the dangerous part of being up here. We need it because we need to get a dark bow, which will allow us to hurt things that Shade can hurt. Like those, what are they called? I don't even remember what they're called. The weird monsters. Come on down, I'm just gonna kill you. That's a vulture. Yeah, it definitely looks like a vulture. Alright, so we have the dark bow. So, despite having Shade, we still need the dark bow for this part. This is also why we get the level 2 bow. Because that way we can kill this thing in 2 shots instead of 3. Which is very relevant later on. And we're through. Shoot that key there. The reason we shoot that chest instead of going over to it and open it is so we can get the platform on the way back. So just little things like that, little time saves like that. Again, we need to shoot the thorn at a distance. There we go. Now, what's in that chest is a health potion. We don't really want that. We want to stick with our elixir. Our elixir is strictly better than that, so we'll stick with the elixir. little bit of a robot puzzle here. If you read the sign, it'll more or less tell you what to do, but we've read the sign before. The sign hasn't changed. And there's going to be one room left before the boss of this place. Which, sometimes I have good fights against. So in order to get to the boss, we're going to need to kill 5 pillars here. 4 pillars, rather. Those big black ones. So we're going to need to do a little bit of work in order to unlock that. Especially because we needed to use the dark bow on our way here. Come on, the fish get in the way all the time. I'm actually going to stop and heal a little bit. Ooh, rank up. Everybody loves rank up. So we put out that flame because that flame also puts out those flames. Oh, a little bit of lag. So get our empowered green sword here. And brass is a very, very powerful spirit to have in this fight. So we're going to get brass now. Oh my god. We're just going right in. New strategy. Alright. So, Warhead is locked in this rock here. And there he is. That's his true form. Oh my god. Alright, we got him in the one cycle. Oh, that was a much better fight than last time I played this. Brass's AoE attack really makes that fight much, much easier. And we'll get our final spirit, 6th spirit, Arrow Flynn. Another gold. I'll take it. Now we're going to go back and we're going to get more charges from the Earth Sword here. And the reason we're going to do this is because we're above the world right now. So if we were to fall off the edge, we would land somewhere, you know, in the equivalent spot in the world. So if we were to fall down from that screen, we would end up in the Earth Shrine, which is convenient for where the game wants us to go. The game wants us to go back to the Earth Shrine to pick up the blue cube right now, but we already have the blue cube. So we just want to go to the final dungeon, the Mystic Room. And the best way to get there is actually by taking the shortcut through Felicia Rashade's dungeon. And so we are going to go back to the village to take the portal there, and then take another portal over. But on our way, we're going to break this rock pillar here. So this is... You'll see which tile this is over in a second. Ow. We're going to get that chest to drop from the sky. This is an extra scroll of the dark bow, which really helps us just kind of later in the run. Because the dark bow is quite useful. I'm going to try this with the amount of magic that we have. We probably should have filled up on magic outside the town. So we're actually going to go back to the water shrine. I'm going to use a bomb to kind of get up here. And the air spirit will use her ability. This ability in-game is called Fluffy Ride. Like, that's not... I didn't make up that name. And what we're looking for in here is we need to summon shades. So we're going to look for some undead. And we're going to run like heck to get out of here. We're also going to fill up our magic. Ow. At this circle. The reason we want to do that is we're actually going to need quite a bit of magic in order to make this next part kind of easier for us. There's going to be a very, very large thorn that Shade's going to have to take care of. Otherwise, it just keeps summoning these stupid things. Ow. Those things. And we don't want to actually pick up that elixir yet. We are going to pick up that elixir eventually, but it'll be kind of on our way out to refill our resources. Or if we end up losing our elixir as the one we have, because we can take quite a bit of damage in this room. So in this room there are 4 switches for us to hit. So we are going to use Errol here to turn them on. God, that bomb guy is really relentless. Come on down. There he goes. I don't know what that guy's punching at. Alright. Get this dark bow. And this is where having the dark bow is really, really useful. You don't have to make this bomb jump fast. Ooh, we did it. So we still have 4 uses of the dark bow, and we're going to use them. Right here. To get this first key. Come on over. And we're going to keep Arrow with us, as we need to move that giant move robot that we saw earlier. Would you come on? Alright, there we go. Spirits, man, sometimes. We want to keep that spirit, that robot kind of off screen, because it does have the ability, like, if there's an enemy, like there's an enemy right near him right now, so we're just going to run like hell so that enemy doesn't do anything. Enemies can actually hit it. So it's facing a different direction, or just block it like that. here while we're waiting. Switch back to the bow and get more dark bow powers. So this is another part where it really wants you to use these spike things to try to break a bunch of stone pillars. And there's a stone switch that's like a decoy switch, and it'll make it so that you have to fight a whole bunch of extra monsters. But we can jump across like that and just walk by. And keep Steven Sondheim with us. Normally we'd have to go kind of back and forth and do a lot of backtracking in order to get this done, but we have the bow and we're able to do that. So we've got our green sword now. And what we need to do with the green sword, what we'd really like to do, is break this gold pillar right there. But unfortunately, we need the level 3 sword in order to do that, which is available in this dungeon, but we don't have it yet. So we're going to break these stone pillars instead, and then go get the level 3 sword. We're even going to keep our use of this green stuff. Ooh, we might be able to save a bomb right here. So the red zombies are shorter than the normal zombies, so you can jump on their heads, obviously. There's a whole puzzle that doesn't involve standing on zombies' heads or bomb jumps, but we're not interested in that. Now here, we have to kill these two guys to get anywhere. But we're going to use John Waters here to kill them. Which is a little bit random. Come on. Don't get stuck over there. We got plenty of magic, though. There we go. Because we want to keep John Waters with us. And you'll see right here why that's useful. You're supposed to bring brass. You're supposed to summon brass in here, and then use that to break the crystal, which gets you another couple of uses of your earth sword. But then you need to summon the water spirit after, because there's a part where we got to put out that flame on that torch right there, and the way you summon the water spirit here is just a huge pain in the butt. Why did that not put out the torch? There you go. How am I back here? How did you do that? Oh. I wish I could do that consistently for real. Oh no. Okay, everything's fine. I accidentally used the earth sword to break the rock I was standing on. Everything's good though. Alright, let's get that level 3 sword. Alright, let's get out of here. Alright, we'll be able to pick up some health and some magic. Whew. Well, that was quite the adventure in that room. We're almost 6 minutes ahead, though. So a lot of room still to improve in this game. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm having a lot of fun routing, having a lot of fun finding these sequence breaks. No, we're hoping they drop bombs here at some point. There we go. So now we need to go recharge our sword to be the Earth Sword. Grab a quick rank there. Why not? There we go. Oh, I jumped too early. That time I jumped just right. That trick is not frame perfect or close to that, but you know, there is an amount of time that you have. So this is a whole series of puzzles where you have all sorts of ways to summon different spirits, and different spirits are blocking different things, and there's a lot of keys now in this final section of the dungeon, and a lot of doors, and a lot of doors you don't actually need to open. So as a result, we don't need to collect every single key. So we can just collect a few keys and be on our way. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Yeah, I was afraid of that. Alright, we're going to go around. We do need to save this Earth Sword. Alright, we're good. And we have 6 bombs, which is great. Not great that that guy is there, so we're going to leave the room so he despawns and re-enter to get our other key. Running a little low on health, but we'll have a full refill in a minute. We have our elixir to kind of guard us until then. And now we can see why we wanted to keep this green sword, so we can hit that rock switch. There's another puzzle here involving spikes, but we get the green sword. We don't need that. How did you get in there? Where did you even come from? Now I'm way over here. Now I'm mad. Oh well. So our next step is to get the purple cube. The purple cube is the final cube that we need to kind of get to the final boss. But in addition to that, we're going to need to go get the wind rod first. And the wind rod is the last of the empowered weapons that we'll be getting here. These guys have super long ranges. And they're very quick. How did you get over here? You stay on your side. Alright. It's fine. I didn't get a rank up on that one. So the wind rod does exactly what you'd expect it to do. It makes it so that you push things and with the wind, the power of the wind. And so we're going to use that to push a couple of things into a couple of buttons. It's crap. I'm on top of you. All right. Made it through. So we were thankfully able to just quick kill that guy. Otherwise, he is an actual legitimate threat to kill us and end the run. And he seems kind of weak, but he is very, very quick, has a very long range. And deals a lot of damage. This is another puzzle that looks like is difficult. We're just gonna summon Brass and get out of here with the bomb jump. So this is gonna be not even the last spot that the dark bow is useful, but certainly one of the more interesting uses of it. Because Shade can actually kill these things in one shot, the dark bow can as well. And so there are 6 of these things, and we got 6 shots. So let's do it. There should be one more somewhere. There's no reason not to kind of take it easy at this part. These guys can get out of control and kill you. But no such luck for them this time, so we'll take our Proto Cube and leave. And last time, we're going to switch to the Dark Bow. That chest has another Wind Rod scroll. Because it's like the last thing you get, you don't have a lot of opportunities to upgrade it, so they kind of give them to you all at once. Ooh, we forgot Steven. Actually, it's better to refill it. Magic here. I was actually plus 13 seconds on that last split. That's sad. If you have a spirit with you at this point, the spirit actually kills that little mouse thing, and then you can't get out. You have to reset it. Not the whole run. So you can see that thorn up there. We need to kill that, and we would like to have Arrow after we go through. So that's where the Dark Bow comes in. Here we go. Oh, this is a good run, though. We can get a good time here. So we're going to have to use Fluffy Ride to kind of traverse over these spikes. There's another way to do it with the Wind Rod, but it's a waste of my time. Oh, didn't want to do that. Didn't want to do that. We don't need to actually kill this guy. We just need to walk around him. So we get a few iframes when we switch weapons. And so we switch weapons right there back to the battle knife. In order to just be able to push him out of the way. Alright, so we've made it to the final tower. Now we're going to fight all of the lieutenants of the big evil boss. And we're going to show off how we would do a safety during a marathon, which is just literally safe. If you die in this game, you just go back to your last save point. We have not saved at all during this run, so that was our first save of the run. And we're going to have John Waters with us for the first couple of boss fights. And the reason we like John Waters here is because good old John likes to stun things and heal me. And there are enemies in the way here in the little hallway up to the next boss that have a very long range, do a lot of damage, and we would just rather trade some magic for being able to get past them, no problem. So the first one we fight is Bludgeon. And Bludgeon obviously has the weapon of a sword. Bludgeon does good damage against us, but unfortunately he can't keep up with our damage. And we have a healing thing, and he doesn't. So he's dead. Maybe you should use a blunt weapon next time. Nerd. Yeah. So, in between each of these boss fights, there's an opportunity to refill. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult than others to get to it, but for this one, it's pretty easy. So we're going to go ahead right in here and refill our health and magic. We still have our elixir, so there's no reason to go all the way around and pick up another elixir. Platform. And the next boss we're going to fight is Red Demon. Now, Red Demon is the weird red demon looking thing that we saw a couple of times earlier. And he has a very unique property among bosses. In addition to being the kind of comic relief guy, he can also be frozen by the levels, which makes him way easier than he was intended to be. You're very evil. Oh, I've never seen that attack before. Alright, he's dead. Next is going to be Dark Will. Again, we still have our elixir, so we're not too worried about that. We are going to get a refill here, though. And we're actually going to unsummon John Waters to do that. Shade for this part. Felicia Rashade. Have a lot of magic to work with here. Oh god, I hope it's enough. It was just enough. Okay. I'm gonna kill all of these zombies, including the invisible ghosts. And not die in the process. Holy Rod helps a whole lot here. And hopefully that's the last one. It was. Beautiful. So this opens up a healing circle and an extra elixir. We'll just get the elixir, because that will use the previous elixir. And now we are going to get Steven Sondheim. kind of pushes you away with like a wing. Ow. But he's dead already. So we're going to do something a little bit different that I haven't done before here. Our next boss is Myra, and kind of getting to Myra is a huge pain because there's all these invisible ghosts everywhere. Come on. So Brass kind of dies and turns into that. There we go. Come on, Ifrit. We're just going to go in with half health in our elixir. I would love to kill you. I'm just going to let Ifrit go to town here. Punch her! She blocks most attacks from me. Come on. See. I like it when he punches. It's funny. Alright, I'm on my own for the rest of this. Alright, let's see if I can summon Ifrit back. Gonna be tough with all these things we're running around. Almost out of bombs, but I kind of need those bombs. Got him. There you go. There we go. This should be it. Oh. So, we'll get rid of Ifrit for now. We're actually going to lose another spirit here in a minute, but we're going to go get another elixir first. Yeah, that is a safe way to kill her. I'm not convinced it's the fastest way, but it might be, just because I'm not good at killing her yet. Getting her stun locked at the end was really, really nice, so we'll definitely be considering that for a while. Alright, so we unfortunately don't have any bombs, because we're going to use a bomb here. Alright, so we don't actually get to have any spirits to start with on this fight. We bring in Errol Flynn here, but Errol's gonna kind of get rid of themselves and create this circle. I like falling down after that. I think it's funny. And this is Agito. Agito. Ooh, give me that Earth Sword gem. That is a nice early Earth Sword gem. So, our goal is to keep John Waters as long as possible. And just heal through whatever he can throw at us. Now he's got a blue shield right now. If we had bombs, we would use the bombs to break that shield. But instead we just gotta wait it out. Back to this one. So for some reason, it seems like having the fire guy out makes him summon the water guy stuff. And that certainly lends some credence to my theory. That's fine. You just want to hit him a bunch with this sword. That cheese, there it is. Come on. There it is. You want to keep her healing so that she doesn't shoot bubbles at him. Because if she shoots bubbles, then he gets a shot. How you doing over there? Falling does no damage, which is great. Almost dead. Hardened basil. Getting stun locked here. That's alright, we got the elixir. There we go. 136.21, this new world record. And that is the Legend of Oasis. So, thank you for watching all the way through. Person who watched all the way through this video. It's a heck of a game. It's entertaining to watch. It has a lot of weird things to talk about, the mythology and the lore behind it. The goofy... The main character doesn't have a shirt on. The goofy names, Leon and Chucky. Just a lot of really weird things. The game in Europe is called The Story of Thor 2. It's got nothing to do with Thor. It's not even a little Nordic. Wasn't Hold'em Joe. He didn't watch all the way through. Well, that's alright. But we gotta wait until the end of this ending sequence here. Get all the stats. That way I can submit this run. Still got a lot of work on that final boss to do, but happy with the run overall. Are you pointing the camera at me? Oh, okay. Well, pointed at Bart. That's alright. Look at that. 2 cameras. So, this is a fun game. It's never been run before, which is probably one of the strongest points for it. It's something that other people could very easily run and beat my time, I'm sure. But I got a couple of golds on this one. This was good. 4-minute gold on Arrow Flint. That's because I started using brass. I'd lost a lot of time on Pillar 2. Somebody wants to figure out how to optimize that. Big time save there. Sub 90 is within reason. Fast forward through the credits a little. The game keeps track of all the kills that you have throughout the entire game and such, and it also has an in-game timer. Fortunately, the in-game timer doesn't it doesn't do, like, if you die, it doesn't count that time. You just reload from the last save, and your last time was when you saved. So you can't really use in-game time to do official times. $22 was my rank. Yeah, we're sub 70, sub 70. That might be a stretch. Maybe though. Maybe. So my rank was 22. Had 184 kills, 20% item collection rate. In-game time was 122. I had more kills than my previous best run here. Same collection rate. Same rank. Cool. All right, thanks for watching, and hopefully I get to run this on a bigger stage. Cool.